Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hockey fans of all ages, I'm your host, Matt McLaughlin. Presented by Bench Clears, I guess. I'm not really sponsored. We're still kind of working that thing out. This is a podcast. We're going to be kind of building up hockey content creators, hockey players, hopefully. Any NHLers want to hop on the show, feel free. And the first guest, we had to get the one and only. This woman has established a following of her own. She is perhaps one of the rising stars in the content game right now. You know her as the glove drop. It's the one and only Tara Shea. Tara, thank you for hopping on with me.
What's up, guys? Thanks
What's
for
poppin'?
the hype. Hold on, wait. There we go. I had to clear the thing. Yes, I consent to being recorded 100%.
Yes,
what is up,
of course.
everybody? My name is Tara from the Glove Drop. A lot of people don't know my name, though. They just call me the Glove Drop Girl. Or if they do know my name, like the guys I play hockey with, they just call me Glove or other things.
That's kind of a sick nickname, though.
Yeah. I walk in, they're like, Glove. Hello.
I guess it's not for your defense. It's more just so for
my defense is hot garbage, but we're doing our best.
What do you play, center?
So I usually like to sit on the blue line, never cross it ever.
Of course.
Not here for any sort of forecheck.
Yeah. That's
I'll
it.
meet you back. I'll meet you in my zone. It's fine.
Victor Hedman. I like it. The Victor Hedman approach, of course.
And he's doing great, isn't he? There we go.
Hey, back-to-back cup champions. Can't really hate on that. But how did your love for hockey first start? I feel like everyone has their first, their first time seeing the ice and seeing the action and stuff like that. Like what was your first memory of hockey like that really helped you fall in love with the sport?
So I've told this story before, and I try and make it like I'm putting it in a nutshell at this point. I grew up with three brothers, super competitive. I was always a tomboy. And when I was 4 years old, we were watching, I had no idea obviously what hockey was, but the Stanley Cup was on. And my dad's watching, my oldest brother, and the Rangers win. And the Rangers are going nuts. And I'm so like locked in. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And then they pan the camera over, and they're in my head. There is this particular moment where you see one of the guys on the Vancouver Canucks. I mean, they're all down on a knee, and one of them looks up and he's so broken and crying. And I got like kind of emotional about it, which is, when you're a little kid, you can have like an emotional response to something. And I got like little tears in my eye. I was like, oh, and my older brother, he goes, Tara's crying. And I, obviously at the time, you don't cry if you're hurt or anything when you have all those brothers. And so I flipped out. I was like, I'm not crying. Fly up the stairs, slam the door, scream so loud that I gave myself a headache because he was teasing me for that. And from that moment on, I kind of was just like, what was that? And I was locked in on it. And I used to stay up a little later and be like, I have a tummy ache, so I could kind of watch games with my dad. And as time went on, my other brothers got really into hockey and started to play. And then I started to play. And just from that moment on, it was always something that I loved very much. And I never realized how much hockey really kind of meant to me until a few years ago. I ended up stopping. I stopped playing in middle school because the girls were making fun of me, and I was doing everything that I could to just be a cool kid and gain approval from everybody.
It's like Mean Girls. You want to sit at the cool kids table.
And where I'm from, the North Shore of Long Island, it can be ruthless. So stopped playing, and but I was always a huge fan. And then again, I was at Penn State, and watching the games with my jersey on with a bunch of Flyers fans and a bunch of Pens fans. And I just loved the Rangers at that point. I loved to watch it, but I didn't really understand how deep the passion went until a few years later. So I finished school. I was, believe it or not, modeling in the city for 3 years. So I was living in Manhattan. And
in that GQ cover shoot.
Not a big deal on a billboard in Times Square. Really, just saying. I'm just saying. Did that. But
the amount of homeless guys that just stared at you as they were falling asleep from
their overdose. It's true. In the middle of Times Square. Wild. But I would come home to my insane, like I lived in an insane model apartment on 51st and 2nd, and we had everything we ever wanted. My apartment was free, clubs, VIP, everything. You're meeting everybody. And yet I would go home and be like, not fully satisfied. and I knew I wanted to do something in sports, and we would go to Rangers games. One of the suites, we could just go whenever we wanted. So I would go, and I would be the most hyped up ever and completely disregard everybody else, the other girls, all my friends. I was just like, do not talk to me. And if they're asking stupid questions, it would just kill me. I was like, how do they know when to sub? And I'm like, oh my God. So I made the executive decision to retire from modeling, and I joined the Army National Guard. Big career change.
Yeah.
So I did that knowing that they would pay for me to go to broadcasting school. Couple of months later, I get medically discharged. Found out I was diagnosed with endometriosis. It's a girl thing. You're fine. You can't catch it.
I was going to say, like, do I got to add that to the list of doctor appointment questions?
But I got medically discharged. So I come home, and my 9-year plan of what was going on, because I was, signed up for 9 years, went out the window. I had 4 surgeries, and the guy at the time that I'd been dating, apparently on and off for 5 years, he cheated on me. So I was like, in my room. Scumbag. What a loser. Like, big time. Yeah, in your face, loser. Not you. Yeah. But so I'm in my room.
Glad for the clarification. Thank you.
Yeah, for clarification, you're not the loser. That guy's just a piece of shit. Yeah. But I'm in my room, in my bed, and I had hit such rock bottom and was so broken in so many ways, from one, being back at my parents' house at 28 and just being no money, no job, no future, to, and then all these surgeries, and I'm up in the air if I could have kids or not, or something like that. And then on top of that with him, and just, so I hit a bad spot. I ended up giving myself stress-induced cardiomyopathy, which is when your heart doesn't even beat strong enough because it's like heartbreak syndrome. That was just such a mess. So for like a week and a half, I'm in my bed. My eyes are all bloodshot from crying. And it was coming up on Thanksgiving. And I had 7 tickets to Rangers Islanders. And I was going to take my cousins from Florida who were coming up. I was going to take them and my brothers and their wives, girlfriends, whatever. And my mom comes in the room and she was like, you better let your cousins and your brothers know that you're not going to the game. You guys are going to go to the game. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? We're not going to the game. Why were we not going to the game? As if I had not just spent the last week and a half in my room, in like on the ledge in my room, not eating, not showering, just a complete mess.
Yeah.
But she said that, and I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Why wouldn't we go? And she's looking at me like, we haven't even been able to get you to come out of your room to like hydrate. Like, what are you talking about? So I went to the game, and something flipped in my head. I went, and all of a sudden I realized, I was like, wow, the entire world could be falling apart around me. Every plan that I ever had, everything that I thought was okay could fall apart, and hockey is untouched, completely untouched. So that is where I realized that this was truly something more than just my loving the Rangers. And so I had to have another surgery, and I'm laying in my bed, and this is when Letterkenny came out. And I don't know if you watch Letterkenny, but it is so funny. So I'm watching Letterkenny. My
TikTok brain doesn't have the attention span to go through TV shows now. And now it's like, I watched a couple of episodes. It's fucking hilarious. But
oh my God.
I need to sit down, put my phone away, and actually like watch it all the way through.
So funny. So I'm watching this, and obviously I'm like suckered in even more because of the hockey aspect. And I guess the Instagram algorithm figured it out, because I followed the account and stuff, and I started getting these ads for a brand that like had something to do with Letterkenny. And I ended up looking at it and clicking on it, and I became friends with the guy who created it. He's up in Canada, and we were talking, and he was like, have you ever seen Steve Dangle? And I was like, negative. What is that?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, that's Steve Dangle. You should check it out. And I did. And I was like, I can do this. What are you doing? Like, I can do, I can absolutely do this. So within a month and a half, I was driving home one day. I thought about the glove drop. I was like, that's a name. That's a pretty good name. Let's go. And I just created the channel. That was 3 years ago. And through that, I ended up getting back on the ice, which is amazing. Love that. And just from here on out, it's just been hockey all the time, and not one part of me has gotten sick of it. It's and you wouldn't, and you're running your podcast here. It's a lot of work. It is
so much work. It's so much work.
And not once have I ever been like, I don't want to do this ever. And it's never even crossed my mind. If I'm ever having a hard time with a video, I'm like, let's go, Tara, let's get it done. And I've been rejected from plenty of things. I mean, I'll say Sean Avery had reached out once to go on his podcast, and we had set up phone calls and everything. And then all of a sudden, dead silence, nothing. He was like, had to reschedule it. And then I never heard from him again. Damn. So basically I got
catfished,
shut down, tossed by Sean Avery. No, it was actually him. We discussed it on the phone and stuff. But and I remember sitting there like, wow, fuck me, man. What is going on? So there's been a lot of instances where, you have an opportunity and it just doesn't work out. But I've never been like, oh, well, because it's mine. I'm just going to keep doing what I want to do. And through that, I've really gotten to dive much deeper into the passion, and it seems like there's no bottom in terms of how deep this passion goes. So it's the best.
It's like, I think, like, I don't know if you experienced this, like when I first started making content, I started putting the stuff out that I was putting out. People were looking at me like, what's wrong with you? Like, you're just gonna turn on a camera, talk to no one, and rant about the Flyers losing 9-1 to the Rangers. And I was like,
that was 9-0. So I'm just saying,
you know what? I've put it behind me. And now I'm going to be
let's not mess up history. It was 9-0.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? I got it. Okay. I got it. Okay. It was almost double digits. We lost by a touchdown and 2 point. Yeah, I get it. Touchdown and safety. I got it. I got the message. Okay. Anyway, as I was saying, like, a lot of people just think you're crazy. And it's when you say it to yourself, like, I'm going to turn on a camera, talk to people about whatever, hockey, and this is going to be my career. People are going to be like, the fuck is wrong with you? Like, and it's like, and the pandemic for me, I don't know how much the pandemic like affected you, but for me, it was like when hockey came back on, granted it was in a bubble, but it was like, thank you,
God in heaven. Yeah. During the pandemic, I was working in a hospital in the ICU, and I was completely in quarantine. I had to stay in my room. I had to get a mini fridge, couldn't go near my family. This is months. People are dying in my arms, like 11 people like dying right in front of me, wheeling bodies. And there was no hockey to play, no hockey on, no anything for me to do. And I couldn't go near anybody. And this was 8, 9, 10 months. I was like, I was hitting the bottle. Let's just put it that way. And then, it took such a toll, but I completely understand where you're coming from, especially, not that I have ever really felt any kind of, in fact, I've never felt as if being a girl has been an issue with this. But it takes a minute to be able to sit down on a thing. And that first layer of first tearing apart how you look is brutal. Yeah. And for me, I'm sitting there putting makeup on beforehand. So I'm already staring at my stupid face for 30 minutes, trying to get myself to look decent. And then you sit there and you're like, what? And that was pretty, that's an obstacle. And then the obstacle of trying to come across as genuine as possible. Because if you're not coming across genuine, you bet your ass the person on the other side of the screen is going to know within 2 seconds. Yeah. But in response to what you just said, I look at people who are not doing something that is fueled entirely by what they love and think that they're crazy. I understand, maybe it's just I missed that class on needing to have stability and benefits and stuff like that, and really kind of like setting yourself up. But how you have one life. I don't want to spend my life, cold calling people and then being excited about Friday.
Oh yeah. Like, I'll use my parents as an example. Like, I love my parents for everything that they did for me and my siblings, but my dad's an accountant and my mom's a marketing consultant. Like, they got the job done. But if someone's like, hey, you're going to be an accountant for the rest of your life, and then forever, you're just going into an office and just looking at numbers on a spreadsheet, I wouldn't be able to do it. I would reconsider.
I would freak out.
Yeah.
And that's why sitting here in this room, and I will, it's been 3 years. I would rather sit here in the corner of my little bedroom in my parents' house filming these videos, making this content and enjoying it, and then ever, like, I'll stay here forever. I don't even care. Then have that, because I just can't imagine looking back, and I had done it for so long, trying to do things to get the approval of others, trying to make the right decision. And my three brothers are all very, very successful. One's in the military, one is a police officer, the other one is like manages this huge liquor store, and they're all very successful. And my older brother, I mean, he thinks I'm absolutely out of my mind. He looks at me like I am the dumbest person in the world. He's like, grow up, Tara. I'm like,
okay,
sure.
siblings would think that anyway, whether you're doing YouTube or not. They'll look at us sometimes and be like, what dumb, like, you're the same blood as me. But
even my parents have been like, all you do is, you go in your room and you work on this stuff and you get your door closed. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, well, go out and get some friends that are girls. And I'm like, well, no, I want to do this. This is more fun for me. I'm not trying to go to brunch. I'm trying to do hockey stuff. And, they're like, you're at the rink or you're in here. What are you gonna? I'm like, all right. I get it. Thank you for your opinion.
Yeah, it's like
and subscribe.
Just,
but then as time went on,
Dad, can you just leave that in the comment section down below, and I'll respond to it when I get to it. No, but it's like a boxer, right? Like, you'd rather die in the ring than throw in the towel and then go to whatever.
And as time went on, and I did gain a pretty good following, and once companies and media groups started reaching out, then they kind of sat there and they were like, wow, actually, I'm very impressed with what you've done. Yeah. Along the way, did we wish that you would just go get a job as a, whatever?
Yeah.
Secretary or receptionist action?
Yeah.
Of course they said that, but I know that that's just coming from a place of them wanting me to have a secure future.
Yeah.
But obviously I was like, no chance, not doing that. Yeah. And then of course, once you see there being some growth and you see that it's actually starting to work a bit, both my parents have obviously been like, oh, that's great. They watch all the videos.
Was there a moment that you realized, okay, this shit could catch fire? Like, was there a moment that it really hit you?
I think there wasn't one moment where everything was like, suddenly all the lights came on and I was like, oh man, it's kind of always been a thing in my head where I'm like, well, there's no way it can't. And I mean, and every time that I sit down in front of a camera and make a video, it's just more and more experience, and it's just making the videos better. And I've never thought that it could fail, because I started it from zero. So there's no such thing as a failure.
Yeah.
I mean, I could continue to do this for the rest of my life, but no, I'm pretty confident in myself. I think that I offer pretty good entertainment value. I think the people who are watching now are they get pretty dialed in. And I noticed too that the comments went from, and I know, when the comments changed from bitch, make me a sandwich, to somebody giving me an opposite opinion on something that I was breaking down on a play or something. Once the comments shifted from you dumb bitch to your opinion on hockey is this, that's when I kind of realized that, oh, wow, people are actually beginning to take me seriously, because these negative comments are all specifically aimed at the hockey aspect of this, not because of the fact that I'm got this huge rack on and I'm pretending to talk about hockey. Huge.
It's crazy. And like, I don't know why I feel like I'm making this conversation about me, but this is just like how I'm relating. Yeah, always. But like, a lot of times I find myself getting wrapped up in like how a video does, like numbers and analytics and all this shit. And it's like, and then like my anxiety filled brain just leads down this path of like, oh, is this what I really want to do? And is this going to work out? And yada, yada, yada. And it's like, for any creator that wants to be involved with hockey, whatever you want to do, shut your brain off and just do it because you love it and figure it out as you go. Like, that would be my advice.
I used to look at numbers. But shit, I haven't looked at numbers in a while, which is probably bad. I should probably be a little bit more on top of that type of stuff.
So Tara, what is your analytical data looking like? I haven't looked at it in a while.
I used to check it all the time, but now it's just a matter of it doesn't matter what the numbers are. It's got to just keep pumping out content, just keep pumping it out. And
Yeah.
sometimes I'll open up my phone. I mean, I put up a video yesterday and I think it only has like 100 something views, but when I went to check, or yesterday when I went to go upload it, I realized that the video I put up 2 days ago has almost 4,000 views. And I was like, oh, that one did pretty good. And then I put the next one up, but it's just a matter of cranking out content. That is the only thing that I need to focus on. Everything else will fall into place. Make good content and constantly put it out. Everything else, numbers and stuff, that's just going to take away from my focus.
Consistency is key. Like if people consistently see your face and consistently associate you with quality content, then that's only going to help you in the long run. So let's shift towards the playoffs today, because we got to talk. Playoffs are in full effect. Rangers and Pens tied up at 1 apiece as we're recording this.
Right.
Are you diehard optimist, or are you thinking that the Pens home ice could go up 3-1?
Nah, no, this is game 3 today, so they'll be going up 2-1. I think that the Rangers have something very special on this team. I can firmly admit when my team is not doing well, and I have no problem with that. But I think that this New York Rangers team really does have something special. I think that second period in game 1 was just another example of what we've seen all season, where they'll lose the momentum and it'll be a little bit off, but all season long, that resiliency and the ability of the Rangers to kind of snap back, whether it took the first and second period, and then they get into the third and they have to finish it up that way, or, they lose momentum for just one period, they snap back after that terrible third period and terrible second period, and that third period, as well as OT 1, 2, and 3. Were all very evenly matched, and the Rangers did outplay the Pens quite a bit at certain points in that. That call was brutal. Can't even talk about it anymore. And then yesterday, 2 days ago in game 2, I thought the Rangers ran the show. There was 5 minutes at the beginning of the third period where they had lost momentum, but we're seeing the ability to regain that momentum very quickly. And they picked it right back up. They outplayed the Pens, and it's not even a matter of, oh, you're just a goaltender. Because if you look at, am I dying? No. You look at the numbers. I mean, you can't fake a Norris trophy. You can't fake 53 goals. You can't fake that power play. You can't fake that penalty kill. And everybody is very much on the same page with the Rangers. And I think that whole team aspect is what has brought them this far. So I do not foresee them having really any instances where it's just a matter of no effort. I know that they're there to play, and I have a lot of faith in this team. Are they going to win the Stanley Cup? I don't know. There's a lot of great teams out there, but when it comes down to their ability, I do have a lot of faith in them.
Yeah, and I think that's the important thing is this isn't just Shesterkin and net only letting up like 1 goal and then they score 2 or whatever. Like, if anyone wants to know like what the identity of the Rangers is, Ryan Reeves. That's all you need to know. It's just like tough physical play. We're gonna forecheck you to death, and then at the same time we got Kreider and Panarin who can snipe it top shelf or go low 5-hole any day.
The depth on the team is unbelievable. The depth on the team is unbelievable, and the playoff Ryan Reeves as well as playoff Alexis Lafreniere are
Lafreniere. It's night and day. It's two-faced.
It's unbelievable.
It's insane.
Playoff Lafreniere is a new level of player. Ryan Reeves, putting him on the ice, and I thought that was so smart because things were getting real scrappy towards the end of game 2. Obviously, with that hit on Shesterkin and Mike Sullivan, you were still a clown for saying that was accidental and that was just hockey. You're an idiot. That is not the case. Stop trying to lie on TV, you dumbass. But it started to get really aggressive, and with the Rangers out 2 players already, Barclay Goodrow and Ryan Lindgren, you don't want to have an injury because of some stupid brawl or something going on like that. And so the fact that they had the wherewithal to be like, hey, Reeves, you just got off, but we're going to put you back on again, because him just being there is going to deter anybody from starting something stupid.
Yeah, no, it's like the Dennis Rodman effect to the Chicago Bulls. And like the late
put
90s.
Him out there and protect the players from fight, because that too is you're not gonna be able to tell your team don't fight back
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
Yeah,
If
because
that ever
they're
gets
going
out.
to fight back. If somebody jumps them, that's it. But I know that the Rangers are smart enough not to start something.
Yeah, no,
And
just
you
finish
don't
it.
want to it's playoff hockey. It's aggressive and fast anyway. You're already being run into the ground, playing 2 games for the price of 1. So
Pretty
I
much.
think conservation of that is great. And I also absolutely love Gerard Gallant as a coach. He
Yeah.
is a hell of a coach. And seeing him
Yeah.
discuss that call, or seeing him discuss game 1, he did not get too caught up in the call, the reversed goal. And he's always very genuine. He will say what happened, and he won't try and cover it up. And then in comparison to, again, watching Mike Sullivan talk about that, and him kind of trying to paint it in a different light, that to me just shows how much better of a coach Gallant is. Has Mike Sullivan been very successful? Of course. But right now, today, that mindset that Gallant has of saying what it is and focusing on what it is going to be so much more effective in making the team successful. Whereas Mike Sullivan's sitting there saying what it wasn't, or trying to twist it in a certain way. Well, then you're just going to bring that energy into the locker room, and then the players are in their head going to twist it in a different way, and they're not going to be playing the actual game that needs to be played. They're going to be playing what they think that is.
And Gallant is exactly what the Rangers, an up-and-coming team, need. Like, a coach is going to be level-headed and says, like, all right, guys, game 1, that call, questionable, yes, but it happened. We got to move on, focus on game 2, make adjustments, and let's not put ourselves in a position that something like game 1 happens where it's close enough they could send it into overtime, or 2 or 3 overtimes. God, that was such a long
that was such a brutal start too. Like, my soul wasn't ready for that. But then also too, you didn't see Gerard Gallant. Was he upset when Chessie got laid out? Of course. But it could go the other way too. He could have freaked out about it after the fact, and then spent all of that time just being angry about the situation. Could have pulled a John Tortorella where he would have just lost his damn mind about it. And then all of a sudden, all the focus goes off the game.
Yeah.
And onto one incident. And that one incident then is going to be the fuel for the entire, tone of the game. And then that can't be either. So was he pissed? Yeah, of course he was pissed. But did he make that what was the most important thing about that night? No, because it wasn't. It was just one thing, and the most important thing was the game. So today, I have full faith in my New York Rangers that they're going to come out there and that they are going to, it's going to be a great game, as it has been, very evenly matched. But I think that they, just in that sense of where their mind is and how the tone that has been set for the team, I think they're going to come out with a little dub today. Well-earned dub.
Yeah, and on the Penguin side of things, I think getting back home ice is massive after playing a long stretch like that. And the home fans are going to be rabid as New York fans, maybe even more, because they know that they want to get that win today. And if they can, propel them to games 3 and 4 wins, that'll be huge going back to New York. Either way.
Don't see that happening. And the Pens fans are rabid.
So the Crosby factor to me is so massive that it's like he could do anything.
Yeah, but so can Connor McDavid. And, Connor McDavid's not really winning anything. And yes, Crosby's playing a hard game.
That's fair. Yeah.
But I think that, as you said before with the Rangers, I think that hit by Ryan Reeves on Malkin really put up an intimidation factor. Just be like, look, we are not the Rangers from previous seasons. This team is very strong and they're very aggressive. Before, there was never any kind of enforcer. There really wasn't much physicality. But now it's like, if you're taking Malkin out right from the start and he doesn't even see the hit coming and you put him on his ass, that's a big statement made.
And Malkin hasn't looked like the same player that we've seen even last year. It's just different. Like it looks like this is the last run of the old guys, of the old guard, before they change over. And it's like, it's almost tough to watch sometimes. But
you see that though. You see that among a lot of players. As a player kind of who has had a very successful career, once they get a bit older and they slow down a bit, not even slow down, they just don't have that same edge as they had previously. Yeah. That's when things start to get real dicey. You saw it with PK Subban. He wasn't able to play in the way that he used to play. So he was than trying to make up for it. But by doing so, he was hurting the team. And those slew foots and all that, garbage that he was pulling just to try and make up for the fact that he does not have the ability to play like he used to. And I thought we were seeing it just a little bit too with the Bruins. In some instances, they're getting a little bit older and they can't perform as well. So that's when frustration sets in, and that's when stupid penalties happen. And in this playoffs in particular, across all of the games, it seems like special teams have the biggest impact on the outcomes of all these games.
So, and I think that could benefit obviously the Avalanche. The Avalanche light up the lamp on like any other team that I've ever witnessed before in my lifetime. I think they could really benefit the Oilers, especially having a man advantage, getting McDavid more open space on the ice. Even Draisaitl will get some more open looks. Like, who could take advantage of these playoffs the most? Because this feels like for the first time in a long time that there's actual parity that anyone can win the cup. For the last few years, I felt it's been the Lightning. Obviously, St. Louis had that run. Pittsburgh has had runs in the early 2010s where it felt like, okay, they got Crosby, they got the big three. And anyone else can kind of give them a challenge, but not so much. How I look at the top two with Colorado and Florida is the lack of playoff experience may come back to bite them.
The lack of playoff experience is definitely something that can be really kind of screw you over. You see the St. Louis Blues, though, they took advantage of their playoff experience in that first win over Minnesota.
Yeah.
But that can only get you so far, because once you start making mistakes, and we saw it last night was one of the biggest examples of how stupid mistakes can trump any level of experience or how good you are. The Tampa Bay Lightning lost again to Toronto, and they lost because they couldn't stay out of the box. And the mistakes that were made that put them in the box, I mean, they had 2 power plays because of delay of game, and they were made by Maroon and Ryan McDonough. And on one of those power plays, it was right at the beginning of the first period. Maroon puts the puck over, delay a game, and Toronto scores within the first 4 minutes of the first period. And once a team has that first goal, that momentum swing is there. And if you look at the score, I believe it was 5-2 or 5-1. The Leafs had that first power play goal, and then they had 2 more goals. And then those last 2 goals to put them up to 5 were empty netters. So because of that opportunity that Toronto had to score early, that's where they got the momentum. And from there on out, Tampa Bay was chasing the game. And it was on 5-on-5, it was very close. But that early goal, man, you got to get that early goal. And if you're giving that other team the opportunity to get that early goal because of a dumb mistake, doesn't matter how experienced you are, you're going to have a hard time coming back from that. So, empty net goals are one thing, but if they're getting 2 empty netters, that just goes to show even more so how much Tampa was just trying to chase the game down.
And Tampa being defending champions, I feel like we've seen this a lot just throughout this season, is Tampa Bay has felt like they could just flip the switch whenever they wanted to, and that they were just getting to the playoffs and they were like, oh, okay, once meaningful games happen, we'll, kind of get everything sorted out. And that's just not the case. You can't do that, especially Toronto, who knows that their back is up against the ropes and there are people's jobs on the line in that organization.
This is your jobs on the line. My jobs.
Yeah. Everyone's just stressed out, just loosen ties. Everyone's just ruffled hair.
Toronto is such an environment too. That whole franchise has got this whole thing. I mean, I don't know what Kyle Dubas is doing up there. That team should be amazing, but the pressure that gets put on people in Toronto, and we saw it with Freddie Anderson, when he was their goalie.
Yeah.
He has a great game and they're like, give him the Vezina. He has a bad game and they're kicking down the door saying, trade him him right fucking now.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
that environment's wild. And the crowd too. I mean, game 2, Tampa Bay got that first goal, and the crowd, which on game 1 was going bananas, they got quiet. Because when their team doesn't do well, they just get mad at them.
Yeah.
And that can have a big impact on the team as well. I mean,
yeah, because they're like, they can't. There's a complete difference between like a fan base being like, all right, let's get this first goal back or whatever it is. And then it's just like, as a player, I would be so freaked out if the stands just go quiet. It's like, yo, can you help us out a little bit?
Minnesota fans leaving early, like that's brutal. And I think that's something too that the Rangers have, is that the fan base does not have that same expectation of you owe us something. Whereas in Toronto, I feel like there is this huge expectation that the Toronto Maple Leafs owe them wins.
Yeah.
Owe the fans and owe, that whole situation and then they get bitter and there's like this animosity that they feel towards them when they don't do well. Whereas in New York, it's kind of like, if you're down 2 and you're just starting the third period, I'm like, oh, well, this is normal. and I think that the loyalty to the team is a little bit more there. Don't get me wrong, Toronto fans are very loyal to their team, but that expectation is that expectation of you deserve, like we deserve to have this is got to be tough to play in that environment.
Well, and the Maple Leafs didn't do themselves any favors by just like acquiring all this talent with Tavares, and obviously they draft Matthews and get Marner, and then like they pick up guys like Spezza and Giordano, and it's like now the fans are set up as like, oh, okay, we'll win the cup, and then when it doesn't happen, they're like, this should be better and yada yada yada. That's why it's like, as a Philly fan, I respect the fan base for their diehard like passion when we are up, like doing well, but sometimes the pessimism is so deep that it's just like, I can't do it sometimes. Like I can't deal with it. Like there was a game I was watching with my dad. The Flyers were up this year. Surprisingly, they were up in the game and they were up like 3-2 or something like that. And going into the third period. And my dad was just like, oh, they'll lose, turn it off. And I was like, the third period just started. They could get a 4-2 something, an empty netter or something like that. No, he's like, just turn it off. They'll lose anyway. And I was like, oh, great. So this is lovely.
I think that the Rangers fans have quite a bit of faith. I don't know where it all comes from because there's been a lot of letdown, but I think that it's more so they want them to do well, and they're not going to be. They don't take it personally when they don't. That's what it is. A lot of Leafs fans take it personally when the Leafs do not perform. Another fan base that I hate so much to have to say this, but the fan base is just incredible, is the Islanders. The Islanders fans are trash bag. No, they are very, very, very loyal. But then there's also that, when Tavares left and then he came back, it was bad. I mean, that was some classless action going on there, which I get. I'd be upset too, but you didn't see the Rangers do that to Ryan McDonough when he left or any of those guys. Yes, they boo when Tony DeAngelo gets the puck, which is just an easy guy to boo. I mean, I didn't hate him, but I think that the fan base has a quite an impact on a team, and that makes it really difficult to play in certain places too. It's really hard to play in Calgary. It's really hard to play in Edmonton.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine like when the whole what was it, the media thing with like Draisaitl and McDavid, when they were going at it with reporters and the reporters are getting mad. I was like, do you fathom the position that they're in where they're already expected to win a Stanley Cup right now? Yeah. And you're asking them questions about like, what'd you see on this shift? And what do you think the team can do better? I'd be done with the media too. I'd be like, fuck this. Why do I got to talk to these losers?
I actually loved Artemi Panarin's response to that too. Some reporter asked him a question about him, and they were like, you individually, your beginning play or whatever. And they asked him a question about it was very just him on what he was thinking. He's like, obviously in Russian, but he responded with, as much as I like to talk about myself, let's keep it to the team. And I'm like, Bread man, you're such a beauty. My God damn it. Love it.
He's not falling for these pigeon tricks.
Yeah, he's like, come on now, give me a break.
Yeah, exactly.
I already had the Russian tabloids try and write that hit piece on me that took me out for a few weeks. This is my first rodeo. Yeah. I'm hitting some chicken lobby or something.
Yeah. I remember that came out. I was like, what? It's so weird. It's so strange. It's just strange.
Wild. Stop trying to mess with Artemi Panarin. He's like one of my favorites. Let's get real.
It broke my heart. My second favorite team is the Blackhawks, and when he left, I was like, it's like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because 2010, but like it's still, I love Chicago so much. I love the Blackhawks.
Were you upset when Duncan Keith left?
Yeah, I was upset.
Yeah,
because it's like
about that one.
Like outside of the Flyers, like I remember just being fascinated by like Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews, like those. Every single NHL game, Blackhawks were like the first team I played with besides the Flyers. Duncan Keith, Brent Seabrook, the couple of years they had Johnny Oduya. Like it was like that that because of the city I love so much, that like that team is awesome. It will always hold a special place in my heart.
And that run that they had was absurd. That run that they had was absolutely unbelievable.
Nuts.
I also have like a nice little like soft spot in my heart for the Blackhawks, just because I have the Marian Hossa curse, which is the eczema problem.
Yeah.
And which is like, if you have it and you're playing hockey, you know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. It is a struggle and a half. And I say it, I'm getting itchy. And Hossa had to retire because of his skin condition. And
sucks.
There's in some of my videos, if anybody who's watching this, including you could go look in any of my videos, and there's one in particular where you just see me going like this the whole time, and it looks weird because my hand is off screen. Yeah, and I'm like, it's like, what are you doing down there? And without even realizing, I'm scratching like my leg. Thank goodness I'm not a dude. It would have looked so bad.
Oh yeah.
Without even realizing, I'm going like this off camera.
That's a tough look. That's a tough look.
I know. I finished my video. And I'm like, oh, I'm bleeding. Not going to refilm.
Yeah, no, not worth it.
2 showers a day, man. You'll be fine.
Do you have any like injury stories from hockey?
Oh, actually, yeah. Well, one time when I first started to get back on the ice, so when I was a kid, I was a stud. I was really good, but I was a kid.
Of course, you had the silky mitts, of course.
Dude, I was just fast. I was like a fast little fearless kid. And then at 31, I get back on the ice and I get all my shit together, and I don't know what is wrong with me to think that to do this. I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to go to open hockey and walk into this rink with 10, 20 dudes who I've never met, who are all younger than me. They're all playing juniors. They're in the NAL. They play for their college team. Really good. And I haven't skated in 15 years. So let's just go see how this goes. I don't know. I think back on that. People have questioned me. They're like, that's insane. And I was like, apparently I really wanted to play that day. So, so I get back on, dust, absolutely just terrible. But I would go back every week, once a week or once every other week. And let me say, if you're the only girl at hockey, that is like the biggest tire pump in the world. There's no other option for these dudes. So you're getting hit on nonstop. But they're always flirting with you, but hockey players unfortunately flirt with you by hitting you. So there was this one kid, I swear to God, this one kid, he's 22 years old. I'm 32, 22 years old. They all thought I was in my 20s. Just saying.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I would have been blushing that day. I would have been. Oh
yeah, they always do. And I'm like, you either just you got Snap. I'm like, buddy, this is probably a felony. But no.
I was around when Snap came out on the app. Yeah. Bud, relax.
I'm like, listen, if you have U17 in your Instagram bio, please don't.
Oh yeah, that's please. A tough look.
My response needs to be very carefully curated, otherwise I'm gonna get in trouble. But so. They'll always bump into me and mess with me. And one time a kid, I guess he had a crush on me, or he did. He bumped me, and I wasn't expecting it. And I ended up going down, and my cage, there's that chin strap, and the chin strap is hard foam. And somehow it flipped up a bit, and it was the side part of the hard foam. And so I fall and my chin bounced a little bit, which had the chin strap been not bent, it would have been fine. But it was flipped enough that it sliced my chin wide open. I didn't even realize that this was going on. So he's making fun of me. He's like, oh my God, like, you're the worst skater I've ever met. I'm like, shut the fuck up. And I get up and we're shooting pucks. And then I went and skated over into the net to get the pucks out. And I lean over and all of a sudden this blood is pouring out of my face. And I was like, what the fuck? And I go like this, and I always film hockey when we play and stuff, just to see if anything silly happens. You see me skating off like this. I go into the back and I go to the bathroom. My whole chin, there's these 2 huge gashes from the hard foam, and there's on the film you see all the guys are like, wait, what? Because there's this trail of blood coming from the net off to the side, and then I come back out and I'm like holding a thing on my head. And they give me a Band-Aid that had hockey players on it. And I slap it on and we finished playing. And then I immediately drove to the hospital, and I get to the hospital, the ER doctor, it's like 4 a.m. at this point. So we play midnight, ER doctor glues it shut. Then the next day the glue starts coming off. So I go back and I got 15 stitches.
Nice.
But it was just like so stupid. It wasn't even like a play. Like the kid just like trying to like be cute came up and like bumped me, and I just went down and had that, but that hard foam, man, effed me up.
So
I
my
have a little
brother,
scar. I don't even know if you can see it, but
I can't tell
I don't
on
know.
Zoom,
Yeah,
but that's
I
a
went back
tough
to
one.
plastic surgeon, did the 15 stitches, but 15 stitches in the face. My mom and dad were like, well, it was only a matter of time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now I wear a visor.
There you go. At least we're making some adjustments. So my brother-in-law he plays in a couple of leagues. And he took a puck to the shin. The shin guard, I think, broke part of it. And it was like a little bit of a bruise. He didn't really think it was much. Goes to sleep, like wakes up pretty much like the next day, and it looks like there's like an Easter egg underneath his skin. And yeah, and my sister's giving him a hard time, just being like, you should get that checked out. Yeah. And he's like, no, of course not, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And he goes to play hockey, and one of the guys on his team is a plastic surgeon. And my brother-in-law is getting changed, and the plastic surgeon says, like, no, you should get that checked out. Like, that looks like an infection. And so my brother-in-law calls my sister and is like, hey, like, if don't stay up late, I'll probably get this checked out after practice. If not, I'll get checked out later this week. And there's a detour on his normal way home. So he goes by the hospital incidentally, and he gets checked in. He gets checked into the hospital, and they're like, no, we have to like cut into that.
Oh my God.
They had to,
you just don't think it's anything until it's something.
Yeah,
oh
exactly.
God, thank
He's got
God.
this Easter egg bulging thing in his shin. And the nurse is like, are you sure that you can hold still without anesthesia and like stay down? And he was like, if you cut me, it'll hurt much less than the I told you so's from my wife.
Oh, I love that.
And they cut into it, and he had to go to Ohio for work. So the whole week he had to like squeeze out whatever was in there left, clean it up every single day. And I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. And he argues that it wasn't from the puck, it was something else. But I was like,
probably just his dirty shin pads.
Probably.
God, you're not all infected. Yeah, no, I'm constantly covered in bruises, and like all my arms, and they're just random. So I put fake tan on to try and cover them up a little bit, but they'll be like little random ones. I won't even know what's going on. But there have been some times when one time a guy on my team did a quick turnaround and he absolutely pummeled me, and it was like 6'2" off skates, took me down. I'm like on the ice on my back, and he's like laying on top of me. I was like, get them. And it didn't hurt at the time when it happened. But then I remember driving home, and it felt like I was sitting on a grapefruit, like on my side of my ass. So I was like, that's bad. And then the only other really bad one is I took a knee to the thigh, like right in the quad.
Yeah.
And one of those ones that it just instantly bruised. It didn't really hurt that bad, but it was deep, because you could tell it's like, it doesn't hurt so much, but I could definitely feel it in my bone marrow.
Yeah.
And it took a few months to heal. And I have a dent in my quad that is so noticeable. It's like this big, and it just goes doo-doo. Because
it's like a car dent, like someone just took a baseball to
somebody
your car.
dented my leg, and I mean, it doesn't hurt and it's fine. And I mean, I'm not dead yet, but it's funny. You get off the ice and you get dressed or you get showered, you get off, and then you just get in the car. And then once I get in the car, then I'm like, ooh, that hurts. Something is bothering me.
Yeah.
You never feel it when it happens.
You're replaying it all in your head, and you're like, okay, did I do something here? Did I do something
when did this happen? What happened? But then just like the little bruises on your wrists or forearms and stuff.
I want to be able to, like, I cannot skate. I probably look like a dog on skates. Like, it probably doesn't look very good. I do want to be able to like skate well enough that I could like play decent enough that like I'm not trash. That's my
all
goal.
It is just getting on the ice. I mean, when I got back on the ice, when I say I was absolute dog shit, that is the fact. Off ice, I could do all those trick shots. Stick handling is dope. Like my trick shot videos that's just, but if I'm off ice and then I get on the ice, 9 inches taller than I was when I stopped skating, my legs are straight. I looked like a flamingo. It was bad.
Yeah.
And I got a little bit more stable, just going to pick up and stuff. But I found that because in the last few months, because obviously COVID made it so I couldn't skate, and then I kind of lost everything I had. And then the last couple of months, I've been going a little bit early and working on some stuff, just so that I can have my edges and actually play like much better. Because I can skateboard, backward stop, whatever, that's fine. But just tweaking those little things to make sure that just rebuilding the confidence, because it's hard to be trusting of my outside edge if I haven't stood on just an outside edge in so long. But yeah, just the more you go, and so I'll go a little early before we play, and I'm playing with the dudes that I play with, considering their level of talent is probably up there with the second most beneficial thing, because they're going a million miles an hour. They're quick cutting, and one of them, my buddy Dimitri, he's this Russian kid. He's so good at hockey. He was like, Dara, we're gonna haze you whether you skate well or not. So like, if you're worried about you, like us making fun of you for falling, I mean, we're shitting on you anyway. So you may as well skate well and not. And that kind of was like, oh well, in that case. So then you get that little confidence back, and now I am D. Yeah, I'm okay.
It's all that matters.
As long as you're okay. I can make some pretty good defensive plays. I'm good at breaking up passes and stuff. Still got some edge work to do, but.
Do you shoot left or right?
I'm left.
Has anyone tried to get you to switch to right?
No, but
that's what my brother-in-law does. He's like, I know you shoot right, but I got a bunch of left-handed sticks, and if you know how to shoot left, I have a right-handed
stick. I should screw around with it or something. Who knows, man? I bowl with both hands. I play basketball with both hands. So,
damn.
But yeah, hockey is.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I coached basketball for a while at the YMCA. Our season just wrapped up, and I used to dunk on these 10-year-olds and then shoot left-handed, shoot right-handed, and then they were like, what?
Yeah, that blows a kid's mind when you can do a layup both lefty and righty. It's like, okay, they're going to the NBA. That's
if I could shoot, I was shooting free throws right-handed, and then I was like, no, left-handed, and they were like,
yeah.
Meanwhile, my basketball career ended senior year, but yeah, when it comes to hockey though, just going and playing, and the best part is nobody there is gonna, unless you're there acting like a total idiot, like an asshole, and being, putting people in harm's way. We'll get some roller hockey kids who come and they're skating like in roller hockey, and they're think that they're hot shit, but they're so unaware and so like on the ice at least, and they will put people in a situation where they get in the way and then there's a collision or something, and that's where people get hurt, and they're not even trying to not do that. They just think they're hot shit. No offense to roller hockey players, and so that can be frustrating. You'll be like, dude, like,
slow down.
Stop. One, like, you might have good hands from roller, but you're like taking out the biggest guy in the team because you just don't give a shit. But if you want to play and you're out there and you really want to, get it done, then I've yet to meet somebody who's unwilling to let somebody else come and play. Are you going to go and take a 5-minute shift during the pickup game? Hell no, short shifts only. So when I go, especially when I'm playing with much higher level people, I'll go, and I mean, my shifts are going to be 1:30, which at pickup hockey is short, but that's just because I don't want to have anybody feel like, yeah, we're glad you're getting back into playing, but it kind of messes up the whole game.
No, it can
so
be.
You have to know, you have to understand what is acceptable and what is not, and they will let me come and play whenever I want. And once at the beginning of the game, I'll take shorter shifts, and then towards the end, it starts to slow down a bit, and they'll be the first people to be like, Terry, go. Like, and if I try and come off short, they're like, stay fucking out there, let's go. And the only problem I have is when I would see people, they do take it a little easier on me. I'll give them that, obviously. But once I started to get a little bit better, I noticed that people were still doing that. Like, they would just basically stop and let me skate up. I can't tell you how many times. Well, it only took 2 times of this happening before everybody was like, all right, fine. I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? The next time somebody here completely stops the second I get the puck, I'm gonna fucking smack your dick off. Like, this is bullshit. Play hard against me. And then they were like, fine, if you want us to, that's fine, we'll do that. And then, push, then I get my ass handed to me, but it's good. That's how you get better.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I'm starting from scratch. I have no experience like skating, rollerblading, none of that. So
I can help you. I mean, I can definitely help you with shooting and like saucing and stuff like that. That's like where I'm good at.
Let's go. Let's
Fucking go, boys.
collab project on the way.
Let's go. And then as far as skating goes, I mean, I can tell you what you're supposed to do. Might not be able to show you how to do it perfectly, but I can tell you what you're supposed to do.
Hey, whatever helps me. I'll get some silky mitts at some point, and then just
absolutely just do some wrist curls, boys. Woo!
Yeah, of course, got to work those forearms out. Last thing I got to ask: how do you give the Kings reverse retro jerseys like a D?
Purple and yellow are the ugliest color combination.
No, they're
I've
not.
Ever seen
No,
in my
they're
entire
not.
life. That
No.
is so busted. That is so ugly. Like
No.
that is trash bag city. Do I love the logo? Because the Kings logo looks like it's going fast. Like I don't know. I look at that and I'm like, oh my god, it looks like it's speed demon. But I mean, there was a high school around me that was purple and yellow, and I was like, this is fucking ugly, dude.
No,
it is just ugly.
That Penguins jersey behind you, that's ugly. That is
correct.
That is ugly. Dallas Stars, ugly. That's ugly.
That highlighter one that they have.
Oh, bleh. That should be burned.
Like, it just looks like you look like an off-brand Ronald McDonald in that bright yellow and purple.
I think that's what makes
Calgary
it so
looks
great.
Like real Ronald McDonald, but no.
It's so 70s though. That's what makes it so great.
All right. Okay. Now that you're talking about it more and I'm thinking about it more, it's growing on me just a little bit.
Like what
did I give them? A D?
Something like that, like a C-?
Yeah, maybe a C-. I mean, I was pretty ruthless with my scoring.
Yeah, no, some of those grades were a little questionable. Some of them. I do agree with you that the Colorado Avalanche nailed those though.
God,
the Nordiques ones. Fire.
That Nordiques one was that was across.
I just want the Nordiques to come back. That's all I want. It's just the Nordiques to come back.
And you know, I mean, that New York Rangers one was looking damn good. The Flyers suck though. That was a practice jersey, just like the Islanders.
That was fire because it's the Legion of Doom years. Like I think the Flyers have one of the best color schemes in the NHL.
I can deal with that. Like I think that the Islanders actually blew it pretty hard though too, because they have that fisherman logo, and the fact that they did not go back to the fisherman logo is like damn near criminal. Like why? What?
Oh yeah, it was completely unoriginal. Like
it was their practice jersey. They probably just forgot to make one, and they're like, oh shit, here's our submission.
Oh fuck, we gotta put one in there.
We're gonna do this.
Fuck. Yeah. The Bruins one. I'm trying to remember some of them. Like there were some that were pretty unoriginal. Like the Columbus one, horrible.
That looked like Washington.
Yeah, no, that was terrible.
The Arizona one was dope. I like that Yotes one.
Oh, you can't go wrong with any version of like the Kachina jersey.
Yeah, no, that was so sick.
But
their team sucks, but that was sick.
They got Gostisbehere, so that's my guy, Ghost Bear. They got Ghost Bear, but no, some of the outdoor jerseys, like the Kings outdoor jersey from when they played Colorado, was it? It was like the LA that was like slanted and it was like half white, half black. Horrible. That should never
good look.
Not good.
I mean, LA's too. They don't really have a history of having dialed in jerseys. They had that Burger King logo on there for a while.
The crown, the purple. Well, you hate purple and gold, but the purple and gold crown one is fantastic in my opinion.
But they had the guy. It looked like the Burger King guy on their jerseys for so long. I think that the best jerseys that usually come out are during the outdoor series, the outdoor games. Yeah, the Rangers outdoor game one, that like darker navy blue with the red and like the off white, sick. But
the Rangers had those 2012 Winter Classic ones are fire.
That's what I mean. Cream. Yeah, the Winter Classic ones were flames. Loved those. Those looked really good. I just want
the Hurricanes to wear the Whalers ones more often than they do.
Yeah, their Canes jersey that they wear that says Canes slanted down. It's like it's like straight to DVD version of the New York Rangers side logo.
Yeah.
And like the Pens have it too. They try, but the Rangers had it first. And then my mom chirps people all the time. She's like, looks like their mom went to Michael's and bought iron-on letters. I was like, okay, mom.
You got a dope mom. My mom's just like, who's on the ice? Who's playing? What
my mom gets fired up. She not so much during the season, but right now she's fired up. And
that's awesome.
Like, well, what? She's like, they should pull the goalie. And I'm like, Mom, no, because and she's like,
the first period. Let's relax a little bit.
She's great though. My mom is the best when it comes down to hockey stuff. She tells me that she doesn't want to hear any more hockey from me. She's so tired of because it's all I talk about. But then the game comes on and she's like, God, come on, shut the fuck. It's great.
Yeah.
She was a hockey mom for sure. She spent a lot of time in a rink between me and my two younger brothers. Two younger brothers all played through high school and stuff. So she's been there, done that.
That's going to be my sister. My sister and my brother-in-law, who has the Easter egg shin.
Happy Easter.
They just had their first son. And
the kid's probably already on skates.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like,
Perfect.
So when are we getting this kid on skates? When do we get stick handling? I'm like, I'll be your assistant coach. I'm totally happy with being behind the bench. I don't got to be the head coach. So let me get behind the bench.
Yeah. I mean, the time, money that go into it is pretty exponential, but if you're willing to do so, like my mom would have us at the rink at 5 a.m. and we would all get our gear, played against sports. And as much as she would hate, it's a pain in the ass at the time, but she loved it. She used to love coming to watch us. And now my youngest brother, he was a goalie. He's in the military. So he's up at Fort Drum, and he's been playing backup goalie for like this Watertown team. And they always go to the Watertown Wolves games, and the kid is good. I was like, wow, he hadn't played for a bit and then he got good. And I'm like, damn, Sean. So whenever he comes down to visit, but he loves it too. And now he's coaching 10-year-old goalies. I'm like, so it's a sacrifice, but it is 100% worth it. My kid will be a first-round draft pick, 100% guaranteed. If not, I'm going to have another one and try it.
Long Island boy, Charlie McAvoy, when he got drafted by the Bruins, I remember like people were like digging up old tweets of like, I hope the Bruins never win a fucking playoff series. Like, I don't remember the tweet specifically, but he was like flaming the Bruins in favor of the Rangers. Of course, that's the way you got to do it.
So it's like, not everybody can be Adam Fox and get to play for their team. Like growing up, loving them. There's that picture of him dressed up as a Rangers player at like his Halloween parade or whatever in second grade. And then they put it next to him skating out in the Rangers jersey. Oh man, that guy deserves everything that he gets. He's the best. So
Johnny Gaudreau, come to Philly, please.
Johnny Hockey.
Oh
yeah. And he's Kevin Hayes. He's Kevin Hayes' like BFF forever.
Come on. Come on. Let's bring him on down. Come on, Johnny.
And I remember too, one time in the city, I think like Johnny was visiting her. He had like a bunch of his friends.
Yeah.
And Hayes is a big mofo. He's like 6'5", like a big dude. And then Johnny Gaudreau
looks like massive. He's not a dude you would fuck with at the club. He's just not.
At the club. And then but like Johnny Gaudreau's like 5'7". So it's just like no, Kevin Hayes is a building, basically. I remember he had to like lose a bunch of weight too, but then he leaves the Rangers and all of a sudden he's killing it. And I'm like, well, that's some bullshit, but okay. Thanks for nothing.
I never got more excited watching Flyers than seeing a Kevin Hayes penalty kill where he could just hold the puck for 45 seconds to a minute. And I was like, yeah, I was
absurd.
Yelling.
I think he hates New York now too. There's definitely a chip on his shoulder. I don't think he want to leave. But...
I mean, I would hate living in New York too. Like city.
New York is dope. What are you talking about? New York City.
New York City, living in New York City every day to day has to suck.
I did it for 3 years. I lived on the east side though, and it was like Midtown East. There was a dog park by it. I wouldn't want to live in Times Square or in that area.
Oh yeah, that's okay.
It's
that's
not
what
as
I'm
bad.
thinking.
It's not. I would never live in Brooklyn, and I would never live like.
You don't want to be with the hipsters?
Absolutely not. Oh my god, I just like I can't. They would not appreciate me because of my humor.
No, I don't think they appreciate most things.
No, they wouldn't appreciate anything about me to my core, probably.
Probably not. But Tara, thank you for hopping on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. This was awesome. What a way to start the day, waiting for these games to start going. I love it.
Of course,
and Penn State, another Penn Stater. We are Penn State.
We are. Hopefully that hockey team starts getting going. It would be nice to,
Oh, I think that they'll be great. I think, and that Pascagoula, the ice arena, what's it called?
Pagula.
Yeah, Pascagoula's the church now. The Pagula ice ring's sick. I think Penn State. I have a Penn State hockey jersey. We're gonna have to get you one, and we're just gonna have to go Nittany Lion our way across the city.
Hey, listen, if you wanna come up during the season, feel free. I'll be happy.
Oh hell yeah! It's settled. I'm going back to school.
just take a week of classes.
I'll come back. I'll just show up to all my old professors and be like, hey, me again. They're going to be like, get out of my class.
I thought I was done with you. They start having hot flashes. They're just like, oh God.
Have an eczema flare? No. But yeah, thank you again so much for having me though. This was great. Nothing like starting the day off talking hockey.
Yeah. What better way? I wanted to get this done so that we could just, plop on our couches and not move for
Oh no, I'm gonna make some videos now, man. We got this playoffs. This is my time to shine. But
the Yoffs.
yeah,
Yoffs.
So
yeah. Well, thank you so much for hopping on. I really appreciate it.
No problem. And shout out Bench Clears. You guys are the best. I have this one in white and the blue one. And best believe I'm about to be going and getting they have joggers now and shorts.
Oh yeah.
The drip is gonna be ridiculous.
Shorts. I have the Nordique shorts. I always get complimented on them. One of the most comfortable pair of shorts I've ever owned in my life.
Yeah, guys. So definitely go check out Bench Clears. And I love that the kid is from my hometown. We look fresh.
Subscribe.
You can't see us and you're just listening. We look fresh.
I got a Whalers on. I know my computer is sitting too tall. I got Whalers. I should have worn the Flyers one. I feel like I let down my city a little bit, but not the first time the city's been let down.
Whoa, Jinx, that was weird. Dude, that was weird. Okay, we're gonna end it right there.
That's some north. Yeah, we gotta end it there. That's some Northeast chirpers on the same wavelength.
Right. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Enjoy the playoffs.
Everyone enjoy the playoffs. Like, comment, subscribe, follow.
Absolutely, and everybody go like, comment, subscribe. The Glove Drop on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Lots of content.
Go do it. Hi, and also send DMs to @BenchClears if you want to see questions to other content creators. Just so I don't have to do all the preparation. That would be nice. Of course. So thank you all for tuning in, Tara. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you in the next episode.